Hi, welcome to Upside. I'm Graham Oakes, Upside's founder. Upside has a very simple goal. We want to enable people to earn an income by shifting their demand for electricity to off-peak periods. The key word there is people. Large industrial and commercial firms have been able to do this for some time. We're making it possible for households and small businesses to do the same. We'll do this by operating a cloud service that takes large numbers of batteries and devices such as PV arrays and aggregates them up into a virtual energy store that can be used by the grid to balance supply and demand. This service will monitor the state of the grid and hence schedule device charging and discharging so as to shift demand from peak to off-peak times. How do we pay for this? Basically, National Grid pays us to reduce stress on the grid at peak times. We build and run our platform and use it to provide balancing services to National Grid. They pay us for the demand shifts we create. We then distribute 75% of that money back to the device owners, which increases the return they get from their devices. That makes it much more likely that people will buy them in the first place, which is good for the manufacturers. They get to sell more devices, which gives them a big incentive to sell our service. We're currently planning to work with 4 classes of device. First, we're working with Sharp to build a battery storage system that can be attached to PV arrays in the UK. We estimate the system could be installed in 30,000 households in London in 2016-17, giving some pretty large benefits. Second, we're working with Siemens on UPS owned by small businesses. We estimate we could connect to 5,000 such systems in London in 2016-17. Third, we're working with Siemens on electric vehicles. We might be able to connect to 2,000 of them in 2016 and 17. And finally, heat pumps. We think there's big potential here, and we've started to have some initial discussions with Hitachi about it, but it's still early days. So the total benefit to Londoners in 2016-17 might be 99 megawatts of demand reduction at peak times, and we could return £3.9 million to households and small businesses while eliminating almost 600 tonnes of greenhouse gases. There are also wider benefits. We're helping to accelerate adoption of green devices such as PV arrays with all the benefits that they bring. And by creating better demand response, we're also making it easier to deploy grid-scale renewable generation. And finally, we're connecting people to the energy system. Most people just hit the switch and expect the lights to come on. They don't see any of the complexity that happens behind the scenes to balance supply and demand. We help make the underlying issues more visible. That means people will be better able to engage in debate on how our energy system should be structured. Thanks a lot for listening.